Well, hello folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC, and we're out here at the Avon Park field in Avon Park, Florida. This is the Avon Park Aeromologist Club. We're the club number 4747 in the AMA. And this is the all-new, just released X-Fly Spitfire 1.2 meter. It's in the Invasion stripes, and we're going to take it up, do the maiden flight. I've only taxied on the driveway. I've got her set up by the book. I do not have a flapped elevator mix. The only other flight review I've watched other than X-Flies is Scale Me Down, one of my fellow reviewers, and he said that when he flew it, he really, going with the book settings and the book flaps and everything, he really didn't notice much pitch change. But with Spitfires, on another related subject, with the Spitfires, they have a tendency to nose over real easily, so you have to have a lot of elevator throw in order to combat that on takeoff, especially in rough grass. However, that also means that your elevator is going to be a bit pitch sensitive. So therefore, I've got 50% of expo with 125 on the elevator. However, understand that the elevator, you cannot physically go in there and change it. It's the servos are buried and I can't really get to them, and there's no way of adjusting any more adjustment mechanically on the elevator itself. So you have to do it electronically. But I think we're going to be all right. It's a very well-designed aircraft.
Motor is hot. It will bite.
Let's take it up and see what we can do. Right, left. I'm going to try my high rates. See, I like that. Right, elevator up, down, or aileron up, down, right, up elevator, down elevator, right rudder, left rudder. All right.
Trimming mode.
I'm going to take off in my trimming mode, which is no gyro help at all. All right, we have no wind.
Takeoff flaps.
So we're going to try our takeoff flaps. Let me move over here. This is a new plane, so I kind of feel like I need to be out here by it. So, nervous.
Flap gear is tucked away.
All right. We're on to 4,000. And I still don't have any gyro turned on. Good looking Spitfire. Not bad on a Maiden to feel that comfortable.
Time remaining 4 minutes. Gear is down.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I got too much.
Gear is tucked away.
What it is, I was trying out a flight mode.
Gear is down. Gear is tucked away.
All right. Boy, she flies good. I still don't have the gyro turned on.
Gear is down. Landing flaps.
Ha! Full landing flaps are in. And I've hardly noticed anything. Yeah.
Flaps up. Gear is tucked away.
All right.
AS3X mode.
Put our gyro in now.
Gear is down. Landing flaps.
Come by dirty. Flaps are down, gear is down. Good flying Spitfire. Boy, oh boy. Man, is she a good flying plane. X-Fly.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Y'all done really well. Really well. Oh man, yeah, y'all have done so well. X-Fly, this is an amazing flying warbird. Very good job. I like my CG now. Now that I've got that taken care of, we're going to take off now. Take off flaps. We're going to do some of our testing. We're going to do our stall testing and see how inverted flight goes. All right. Remember, stay on that rudder.
Gear is flaps up.
All right. Get it up. Flip it. All right. I'm up high because I've never flown this plane before. Very little pressure needed for a down elevator to hold that up. All right. Clean stall. All right, looks like maybe the left wing. All right, do that again. Clean stall.
1 minute.
Nope, looks like the right wing.
Yeah, because
You lost it?
yeah.
That's fine. But folks, we established that it's the right wing.
Landing flaps.
We've also established that very little downward pressure is needed to maintain inverted. And the flaps, factory flap settings are perfect. All right, now, got 22 seconds left on a 5-minute timer. All right.
Motor is off. Safe
All right.
to touch.
21 seconds left on a 5-minute timer. Motor's throttle cut is on. That is one great flying warbird. Perfect addition. I got it because I don't really have all that many warbirds. 66%, by golly, we're going up. They say you can set your timer for 8 minutes on a 4,000. I agree. I agree. Alrighty. I'm very happy with my settings. I'm very happy. And just so you know, my AS3X settings, I haven't changed them. It's whatever the default is.
Motor is hot.
And that seems to work out real
Take
well.
off flaps.
All right. She doesn't seem super pitch sensitive, so that 125 is fine. Stand behind her here and let's take off again.
Seconds. Flaps up. Gear is tucked away.
All right.
Ten. Timer expired.
Victory roll.
Landing flaps.
All right, let's come by low and slow. Man, what a good looking warbird.
Flaps up.
Boy, oh boy, X-Fly? Man, you did good.
Gear is down. Landing flaps.
Come by, do a gear pass, just show the gear down. Oh boy, I'm very pleased, very pleased.
1 minute. Flaps up.
All right, I ain't gonna lie, that was a mistake. I made the most of it.
Landing flaps.
You come by a little more shallow of an approach. And drive it on home. All right. I want to see how it looks taking off from that direction.
Flaps up. Gear is tucked away. Gear is down. Land -2 minutes.
Oh, hey, now, let's see, in that rough grass, full up elevator at 125%, let's see if I can get up out of that. Nope.
Motor is off. Safe to touch.
I gotta tell you, X-Fly, you did good. You did real good. This is one excellent warbird. Excellent flying, but Spitfires will put a smile on your face no matter what. They're one of the best flying warbird platforms there are. Throttle cut is on. We were 2 minutes and 10 seconds over on a 5-minute timer, so total time is 7 minutes and 10 seconds. The wheels do have a little bit of give, but not much. Oh, and I didn't cover it in the build, but they have suspension. I mean, 200 and I think the plane was 279. You get flaps, lights, suspension gear, 4S Warbird, looks great, flies great. Let's check this battery now, and I'll show you battery replacement. Now we will come back, this was the Maiden, we will come back later this evening, because it's early in the morning, and I'll do a after battery report, and we'll talk about the rates, we'll talk about setup, we'll talk about CG, we'll talk about my AS3X settings, AS3X Plus settings, and all that. But I just want to get this Maiden in and tell you right now, 49%. You can set your timer for 8.5, 9 minutes. If you, probably even if you thread it out, you might even get 10 minutes out of this on a 4000. But just to let you know, I know I'll cover this in the man cave, but I got an HRB 4000 all the way forward up against the firewall. So, you got that okay? All the way up. Let me get closer. Yeah. All the way forward. Now there's a structure that keeps you from touching the motor with your battery. There's a wooden frame there, or a plastic frame, so you don't have to worry about that. But 4,000 all the way forward, yeah, that's the ticket. At least my 4,000. Mine might be way more or less than yours. So nice latch on top. And CG is 65 millimeters back from the leading edge root. Puts it basically right there. She's kind of favoring nose heavy. And if you want to check it from upside down, it's actually on this panel line. That panel line, you can't miss how it feels. And it's right there. And she's perfect right there. Well, folks, that was the maiden flight of the X-Fly Spitfire in the Allied Invasion Stripe. I think it's the Allied Green. It's not the Allied Green, it's the Invasion Stripe, and I forget the name. It's the Johnny, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't have my history. I have to apologize. Johnny something livery. And, but man, I tell you what, I'm very, very pleased with this plane. Flies great. You just saw it. Flies great. First time I've ever had in the air. And you get a lot of plane for your money. All right, I got it on Amazon. I don't see it on Banana Hobby's website. I'm sure they're going to sell it eventually. I'm going to have it on the channel many more times, but for right now, I'll give you the Amazon link where I got it. It's off the X-Fly store on Amazon. So I'm not an affiliate. I just wanted it, and I wanted to show it to you. And as far as I can tell, I'm the first in the United States. Scale Me Down is the other one, but he's not in the United States. All right, y'all have a good, and God bless y'all. God is good, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and let's keep these warbirds going. Bye, y'all. Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the Fat Guy Flies RC studios. All right, now today's maiden on the X-Fly Spitfire 1.2 meters, one of the best maidens. I've had a lot of good maidens lately, but this was particularly good. This plane flies absolutely amazing. It's you know, the phrase locked in. When I flew it initially in my trimming mode, which means no gyro, no kind of help at all, and then whenever I turned the AS3X Plus gyro on, couldn't even tell the difference. It flew so well, but it went absolutely phenomenal. It went phenomenal. All right, let's go over a few things. Number one, let's talk about the most important thing of any plane, and that is CG. CG on a plane is going to dictate how well or how poorly a plane is going to fly. A plane is not balanced is not going to fly well. It's just you're going to fight it tooth and nail. All right. CG on this plane is 65 millimeters back from the leading edge of the wing, which is the very front. And it just happens to be, there's this panel line here. It just has to be perfectly on that panel line. I also have it marked on the underside at 65, right on that panel line right there. So with the gear down, like she's coming in for a landing, which is where CG is going to be the most important. Look at that. She's just basically perfect, right about there. Maybe starting to favor nose heavy, which for a warbird, that's what you want. All right, now to get that CG without having to add weight or anything is I have an HRB 4000 tucked all the way forward, as far forward as you can get. And there's a plastic structure back there that keeps you from actually touching the motor with your battery, because that would not be good. But that's where I've got the 4000. There's my AR631 right in there, antenna going back. I did a range test here at the house, out and down my street. Absolutely no problem with signal. Okay, now I want you to pay attention to that elevator. Okay, watch the elevator and watch what happens with that elevator whenever I put the gear up. Okay, watch the elevator. Okay. If you notice, there's like no movement at all. Now, and I bring that up is because initially, I believe the manual is wrong in this, okay? Initially, the manual says that with the gear up, that you want 2% of up elevator. Okay, I'm sorry, 2% of down elevator. All right? Well, I have found that to be wrong. Okay? I have found that it's just not even anywhere near that much. That elevator is only moving just a tiny, tiny percentage. I don't know if you can even tell it moves. So, in all actuality, and then they're telling you that whenever the gear is down, that the elevator needs to be perfectly level. All right, well, I have found that through my flying today, leave it alone. Keep that elevator perfectly level, and you won't have to have anyone to worry about it. Okay, with a 4000. Now, maybe a lighter battery, it might affect it, but I put in a flight mode to give it 2% or 2 millimeters of down elevator with the gear up, and I have found she started dropping like a stone. I think, yeah, and didn't fly. So I just neutraled it out whether the gear was up or down, and it's fine. So my opinion is don't do like they tell you in the manual and do 2% of down elevator with the gear up. Leave it at neutral, fly it that way, and then if you find it with your batteries that she is starting to drive, line, or pitch, or climb, or dive, or climb, depending on the position of your gear, then go back and work a mix. But for me, I found leaving that elevator neutral was perfect. I mean, perfectly level was perfect whether the gear was up or down. So when you first watch the video of me flying this and I put my gear up and down, I'll say something, well, I was trying a flight mode and she was climbing on me, diving on me, and I kept doing elevator trim. But once, after all is said and done, once I got the plane back on the ground and put the gear up and down, I noticed that I had leveled, I had trimmed it out to where the elevator just stayed perfectly level or perfectly trimmed whether the gear was up or down. So I completely negated my flight mode and found that it flies for me perfectly well, just straight and level. Okay, so the only reason I'm sharing that with you, and you're like, well, that's kind of a waste of time, is because in the manual it does tell you that with the gear up, 2 millimeters of down elevator. Okay, so down elevator to where the front of the elevator is up and the back of the elevator is down 2 millimeters, and that would normally cause a dive, and that's what happened to me. So maybe they have changed a few things with the plane since their manual came out. Dropped my strap there. So I just wanted to let you know that I initially followed the instructions, didn't work out well for me, and leaving the elevator completely level and trim, the bench trim was fine. So I also found, and this is great, that not only is that not needed, like the manual says, no need for elevator to flap mix. This plane, I put full flaps in, flaps up, flaps down, and the plane never pitched up or pitched down whether I had flaps. So no need for flight mode, no need to do anything with the elevator. You just put normal rates in and fly the plane. So that is excellent, 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 excellent. Okay, I love it when you got a plane with flaps and you don't have to put any mix in. It just slows it down nice and controllably and does great. So that's a good thing. All right, now let's talk about the flying rates. Oh, by the way, this video will be attached to both the videos that I did today. All right, my flying rates that I flew in, we'll talk about AS3X in just a second, but my actual flying rates of the control surfaces, if you look at the ailerons, there, my high rates is what I flew in. My ailerons are 85%. That's by the book for Spectrum with 30% expo. Okay. My elevator. Now you guys are gonna scoff at this. My elevator is 125 with 50% expo. Okay. The reason for that is you say, well, why don't you just go in there mechanically move your elevator to where you can have 100% of the throws and not have to electronically do it? Well, the reason for that is the control arm, there's only one position for your clevis here, your ball link to attach to the control arm of the control surface. There's only one position, so you can't change unless you drill out and make a new hole. There's no way of getting to it. The other reason is, you look in there, the servo for the elevator is underneath here. Okay, you can't get to that servo. Now, I guess you could cut the fuselage open and get in there, but that would be stupid. So you can't go in there and change the position on the elevator. So that's not good as far as serviceability of your servo. Now, this is where X-Fly, they should make it where you can get to them, and that's a miss on their part. Okay, so therefore, any real extreme movements or settings for your control surfaces for the elevator and the rudder, you're going to have to do it electronically. So that's why, and the reason I chose 125%, even Scale Me Down is the only other person I've not seen an actual review other than X-Fly said you got to have a lot of elevator in order to keep, and what's Spitfire famous for? Coming in for landing and tipping over. Okay, because that way that gear is, the plane will want to tip over. So if you're taking off on grass, you got to have full up elevator to keep that tail planted so you can kind of roll into your takeoff and not nose over. Okay, so that's the reason why for that. He chose 120% if I remember right. I chose 125, but I chose 50% expo. He chose, I think, 40% expo. So that's my reasoning for the elevator. Why have such extreme throws. And the rudder is just 100%, 30% expo on the rudder. Okay, now let's talk about the flap system. Now this is the flap, like I said, these are the flaps that I used. These are the split flaps for takeoff flaps.
Takeoff flaps.
That is 35%, no mix.
Landing flaps.
And landing flaps on Spectrum is negative 50% with no mix and a 2-second deployment. And those split flaps at that setting right there just slowed this plane down nice and level and nice and controllable, and she was very easy to land. And now the rollout's a little while, okay, but that's all right. You've also got suspension gear on this plane, which I think is cool for a plane of this category. Have actual good, strong suspension gear is awesome. Get a closer look at that gear. Yeah, I mean that is some very good, some good quality gear right there. All right, now let's talk about our AS3X settings, and they're actually so simple. I did nothing. I simply enabled AS3X Plus and didn't change any of the settings. But let's go ahead and go over what they are. Okay. My gyro setting, my AS3X settings, the gains are on roll, pitch, and yaw, 40, 50, and 60. The priority, all at 140 on roll, pitch, and yaw. Stop lock, 35, 35, 35 on roll, pitch, and yaw. And release rate of 55, 55, 75 on roll, pitch, and yaw. So that's the stock settings. So I did nothing with AS3X, and plus it's however way it's set up, and that's the default settings. Perfect combination for this plane. One-time gains on the gains. Set your timer for 8 minutes on a 4,000. Set your timer for 8 minutes. Fly the way you want. I mean, if you want to hit it hard the entire time, fine. 8 minutes, you're still going to come back at more than storage rate. Okay. I set my timer for 7.5 minutes to be conservative, and I came back with like 50% left. So 8 minutes, fly the way you want, is a good, safe number for me to give you. So you're getting plenty of flight time. If you put a 2600, which is the lowest recommended battery, then maybe set your timer for 6 minutes. But here's the issue. In order for me to get good CG, okay, I got to put that 4,000 all the way forward, how my batteries weigh, how much they weigh. I had to put that battery all the way forward and get good CG. So if you put a smaller battery in there, just check your CG. You may have to add some weights, or you may have to find a heavier 2600 and get it all the way forward and get CG. And remember, with a Warbird, you want level, and it's preferable to favor nose heavy. They just fly better. Now, I flew her inverted, and I barely had to touch the down elevator pressure to keep her level. Okay, now if I maybe move that 4,000 back a little bit, I might be able to fly her straight and level without having any elevator put for inverted, but then the CG may be off when I go right side up again. So I would rather have to hold in a touch and keep it, basically hands off with her flying, correct. And anyways, that's just my argument on that. But anyways, it should be the same both ways, but it's not always because of the shape of the wing and everything. I know I ramble on, blah, blah, blah. But I will tell you this, I'm just absolutely blown away with the quality, with the flyability of this plane, how she handles the performance, everything involved. This is by far one of the best Warbirds I've ever had. And these lights, as you'll see when I came in a lot of the earlier flights of the morning this morning, these lights are super, super bright. She's got plastic in several places. You got a steerable nose wheel, it's all plastic there. These all plastic around this gear, these coolers here. I guess they're old coolers. I forget whether they're something functional on the actual airplane. Is all plastic. Plastic on here, plastic inlet here, nose cone, split flaps, plastic. Now, the one drawback of the plane, it does have pinch hinges, pinch foam hinges, but they are reinforced with laminate. So, and this is not going to be a 3D extreme type plane. The only thing I modded is I gave her a clear coat of my mid-wax polyacrylic, and that is this product here. Okay, that right there, just so you can see. This is what I use on all my planes, and I do the treatment too. And these guns just press into place, the two inner guns. These were already installed, but I had to press those in. The antenna's already there. The whole thing bolts together with absolutely no gluing at all. Four bolts hold the elevator in. A rudder's already there. 4 bolts hold in the wing. You even get the tools to do it with, and you'll have 3 bolts left over. What it is, you get 1 of the wing bolts, 1 of the tail bolt, and then this extra bolt that holds the spinner in extra, along with the tools to do it with. The wing, the elevator, or the rudder, the ailerons, the flaps were all perfectly trimmed out of the box. I didn't have to adjust them at all. Didn't have to really adjust the rudder, didn't have to adjust the elevator, other than you had to hook it up. And once I realized just making it level, okay, is the best recipe. So makes it actually a very simple setup. Well, folks, I'll tell you right now, I'm X-Fly. If this is how you're going to do Warbirds, I want more Warbirds from you. X-Fly, you did an excellent job. Prop was balanced, ESC was calibrated. I could not, and why this isn't at Banana Hobby, I don't know. The only place I see this is in Amazon here in the United States, and I'll give you my Amazon link to it, but I'll tell you right now, you need to get one of these. You got to get one of these. If you're a fan of Spitfires or a fan of Warbirds, period, you need this in your hangar. This thing is phenomenal flying plane. All right, well, thank you so much. That's my after flight report. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your attention, and God bless each and every one of y'all. That's the X-Fly Spitfire 1.2 meters. Reminds me a lot of the E-Flight, but to me, this one's a lot better than the E-Flight. We got suspension gear, we got lights, we got an all-around better performing aircraft here. Thank you, folks. God bless y'all, and we'll catch you next time. And don't forget, let's keep them in the air, faith, family, and friends, and then warbirds.